Wmcjltv, Jazz Lovers Television Network. Arts, culture, and entertainment with fine news and business. WMCJLTV.
Peace, peace, Akis Malikas, Kings and Queens. Welcome to another Thursday production of World Media Coalition Jazz Lovers Television. Follow us on Odyssey channel and also watch us live 24 by 7 on our site wmcjltv.com. Greetings, Makakovo. Greetings, Samar.
Makakuvu Ali El Bay, World Media Coalition, Jazz Lovers Television Network. And I want to welcome our production team from out of Brazil, Ahmad Mansour, and our production team, our Chief Technical Director, Zulu King Fixon out of Lugansk People's Republic. We want to welcome you to our Thursday production of I Found My Voice. Our television production is growing by leaps and bounds. You will be able to see us on Odyssey, on our website, WMCJLTV, on jlove103.com, the live stream production with Honorable Lou Gossett, and may he walk amongst the ancestors, be well received by the angels. You can catch us on our Telegram platform, the production platform, WMCJLTV. Again, as I said, I'm Makakuvu Ali El Bay. In today's production, we want to share with you some significant information about a young man who was a boxer in Patterson, New Jersey. Reuben Hurricane Carter and his colleague, John Artis, who were falsely arrested and accused of murdering some police officers. A racially motivated arrest, a racially motivated trial, a racially motivated conviction that resulted in 20 years of this young man's life being taken away. And the bulk of those 23 years or 20 years was on solitary confinement.
Central barbecue. I don't know. This is good though.
Bring that video up, please.
How long gonna be in town? I work?
Ahmad, mute your phone, please.
It was 20 years. He protested his innocence while living a life of hell in one of America's notorious maximum security penitentiaries.
I was tried for the death penalty. I just narrowly escaped the electric chair. So it's not the 20 years in prison. I just eased by the electric chair. I was all that I had. No, everybody else thought that I was a racist murderer. Who wants to be involved with a racist murderer? So I was stuck there. The moment that they accused me of this crime, I said, no, I did not commit this crime. I had nothing to do with it, and you know that I had nothing to do with it.
For almost 20 years, Reuben Hurricane Carter spent a lonely, grim existence behind bars, never giving up his dreams of being exonerated from a crime he said he did not commit.
It infects every molecule of your being. It affects your talk, it affects your walk, it affects your psychology, it affects your physiology, it affects everything about you, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not. And unless you're aware of it, it's going to send you right back to prison, because that's what prison does. It conditions you where you can only exist there and you can't exist anywhere else.
Having grown up in one of the toughest of America's black communities in New Jersey, Reuben Carter became a boxer. After a distinguished amateur career, he stepped into the professional ring, knocked out 21 opponents in 40 fights, and quickly became known as the Hurricane.
Reuben Hurricane Carter scores a shocking one-round knockout over reigning welterweight champion Emil Griffith.
The way that Carter can throw short punches, and there with a right hand is Fernandez on the deck. They must take the mandatory 8 count. More than 2 minutes left in the
1964, he fought for the world middleweight title and lost to Joey Giardello on a split decision. 2 years later, he just signed for a second world title fight against Dick Tiger, when his life changed for good. Carter and a friend, John Artis, were held by police on suspicion of shooting dead 3 white men in a New Jersey bar. The murders were believed to have been racially motivated, but overwhelming evidence suggested that Carter and Artis were innocent. And yet 4 months later, they were arrested and charged with the 3 murders. An all-white jury convicted them, and the 2 men were each given triple life sentences. The verdict opened up accusations of racism, and many leading public figures, including Muhammad Ali, led protests against the convictions. Bob Dylan further publicized Carter's cause in a record labeled Hurricane. But appeals and retrials brought no change. Reuben Carter seemed destined to remain a prisoner. Much of his time was spent here at Rahway Maximum Security Jail in New Jersey, where he steadfastly refused to conform or was protesting his innocence.
I wouldn't operate with the prison. I wouldn't cooperate with the prison. I wouldn't cooperate with my keepers to keep me there. I would not eat their food. I would not wear their clothing. I would not work their jobs. I would not talk to any of them. And therefore, I was a menace to them. I was a danger to them, because other people may begin to emulate me, so they had to get me out of their sight. They had to lock me away in solitary confinement. And that's where I remained for the vast majority of my 20 years in prison.
It's hard enough doing 20 years in prison, you know, being away from your family and people that, you know, traveling and doing things you want to do. But when you lock your own self up, you know, a little more than the system locks you up the way he did, it's probably a lot more difficult, because you have nobody to talk to but yourself in the mirror, I guess. I'll tell you the truth, it's probably more difficult doing time the way he did it.
Carter talked to virtually no one in jail and made no friends. Yet his stand brought admiration from many inmates.
Well, Reuben was a person that helped me out when I got here, because I was young You know, I didn't have no sense of direction. And I looked up to him because I seen what he went through the years that he was in prison. And by hearing about him, by going to rallies for him when I was on the streets. So he was like my hero.
The door to freedom was eventually opened only after he received a letter from a 16-year-old black youth. Lesra Martin was a poor, illiterate boy from a Brooklyn ghetto. He'd met a group of well-off Canadians who taught him to read and write, and the first book he bought was about Carter. The story incensed him. It was the start of a 5-year fight by Lesra, his Canadian mentors, and Carter's lawyers, which finally led to his release in 1985.
Thank you, man. We did it.
A New Jersey judge finally threw out the case, saying the original verdict had been racially motivated. John Artis and Reuben Carter were officially exonerated in 1988, more than 20 years after being convicted.
It is over.
That day was a miraculous day, not only for me, but for a lot of other people too. And that's what made it so special to me, that it was not mine personally, but it was an indication that everybody shared. It was a surprise that everybody shared. It was beautiful.
Amid the peaceful surroundings of this mock Tudor house just outside Toronto, Carter now lives a vastly contrasting existence with his new Canadian friends Sam Chayton and Terry Swinton. It was Chayton and Swinton who were credited with the largest part in helping his fight for freedom. Carter has written 2 books on his story and is currently working on the screenplay for a movie after being signed up by a Hollywood producer. Nothing can ever replace those 20 lost years or the chance to become a world champion. But next month in Las Vegas at the World Boxing Council's annual convention, he'll be awarded an honorary world championship belt. For Reuben "Hurricane" Carter, it will be the proudest moment of his life.
I've been to the mountaintop. You know, I've been to the mountaintop, and I've seen over the mountaintop. And all I can say about that would make any sense to anybody, is that it exists. Whatever this it is, it exists.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, absorb that information, because you heard one of the people narrating that said, when you lock yourself up, it's even harder. I do not agree with the concept that Reuben Carter locked himself up. By not communicating with them, eating their food, wearing their clothes, that eventually resulted in him being placed in solitary confinement. I don't agree with that.
Michael, can you hear me? I'm in the car. Can you hear me? I can't hear anybody.
I hear you, brother.
Better go out and come back in, I guess. I don't hear nobody.
We hear you.
Yeah, we hear you, Joe.
So to have refused to have any interaction in that environment based upon a criminal incarceration carried out by the police, the courts, and the legal justice system, which was an illegal incarceration, gave him the strength based upon his knowledge that all along he was innocent, to endure the silence of being in solitary confinement. Recently, the city of Paterson, New Jersey, had a street naming ceremony on the street that the courthouse is on that convicted him and sentenced him to the electric chair. They renamed that street Reuben Hurricane Carter and John Artis Way. Do we still hear that brief article, Frickson?
You mean the article about Reuben Hurricane?
Yes.
Okay, I need a few minutes. I think we have it.
So, and in the article, the mayor of Paterson, New Jersey, said this happens too often to young men of color. Too often. Accused, convicted, and sentenced of a crime that you did not commit. And like Reuben Carter said, it weighs on you. It affects every molecule, every cell. Your thoughts, your speech, your walk, your talk. It affects everything about you. And if you let it, it will bring you back to incarceration.
Okay, it's article from abc7newyork.com?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, we got it. We'll be show it now. Yeah, here we go.
So,
you want to watch this video?
yeah, please, let's watch that video.
Outside the courthouse where Reuben Hurricane Carter and John Artis were wrongly convicted now displays their names.
This is for everybody who has experienced this trauma. And I'm just grateful to be here with all the people that loved him and knew that he was innocent.
Carter was a boxer whose story spread far and wide. Singer Bob Dylan took up the cause for justice in his lyrics.
Here comes the story of the hurricane.
And actor Denzel Washington portrayed Carter in the movie The Hurricane.
Hurricane is the professional name that I acquired.
After his conviction was overturned, Carter fought to help those who were unfairly treated by the criminal justice system.
As Reuben Carter and John Artis suffered through this many, many years ago, our young black boys and Spanish boys on the streets of Paterson are dealing with this today.
Councilman Mike Jackson pushed the proposal to rename the street. The Artis and Carter families have been united since 1966, when Reuben Carter and John Artis were taken into custody and imprisoned. Today, there was a feeling of vindication.
We've been through a lot, and to see this today, I am just so happy.
Reuben Carter died in 2014 and John Artis in 2021. But their struggles have been honored by great singers, Hollywood, and now in the city where the injustice occurred.
I know that he and Reuben are smiling down, celebrating right now. This is a great occasion, and I thank you so much for it.
This was a big celebration for both families, but especially the family of Reuben Hurricane Carter. He would have turned 88 years old today. In Paterson, New Jersey, Anthony Johnson, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
And that young lady that was speaking is his daughter. So you can imagine the feeling of pride and remorse at the same time that she had. Pride that he was able to live out the rest of his life as a free man, released from incarceration. And remorse at the years that she lost with her dad behind this false incarceration. And to have the city of Paterson in front of the courthouse where he was convicted acknowledge the wrong and name the street after both of them, Reuben Carter and John Artis, is a bittersweet honor, but one that is justly accepted. So I wanted to share that story because, as mentioned, it happens to so many people. It happens to so many people. Day before yesterday, I posted on the website, on our platform, that there was a study done where hundreds of law enforcement officials have molested children. Police officers have molested children. Many of them don't even get arrested. So keep that in mind, people. Many of the police aren't who they pretend. I'd like to welcome Ross Bernard from Uganda. Ross, can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you. Thank you.
Ross recently attended the United Nations conference in Kenya. Unfortunately, he cannot get on his camera so we can see him. But Ross, give us a report on that conference that you attended for the United Nations. Why you were there, what you spoke about, how you got to be there, and your representation of the World Media Coalition Jazz Lovers Television Network as a Wmcjltv humanitarian knowledge global ambassador of the 5 elements of hip hop.
Definitely. Thank you so much. I go by the names of Minister Ras Binat Benzema from Kampala, Uganda, working with Authentic Voices Africa, Youth Leadership Aid, Mkwele Girl Child Foundation, and Wmcjltv. And I was privileged and honored to represent the movement last month. That was from the 17th to the 18th of May, but I was there for many of the days within the week, conducting different workshops and conversations and dialogues, plus TV representations. So part of my involvement or participation at the conference, rather, at this United Nations Civil Society conference was, about our representation of the underrepresented or marginalized communities that we work with around the world. So we work with the demographics of from refugees to youth that are marginalized, i.e. those in slums and among other spaces like rural areas, ghettos. So that was part of why we was called upon to, or rather I was called upon to represent at the United Nations conference. So part of what I was talking about, I was sharing about the power, of arts and culture. So with my background coming from hip hop culture, was on how hip hop has continued to influence change in young people and also amplify the voices of the marginalized, groups around the world, given, from its history and also from its impact in terms of youth development, social work, social justice, among so many others, us giving references from the works that we do in the refugee camps in Uganda and across East Africa. So that is why, I managed to, to be called upon to also create an impact coalition. So the impact coalition, I'm part of two impact coalitions that we formed. One was of underrepresented communities, which included refugees, people with disabilities, persons with disabilities, among others. And also another coalition was arts and culture, which was basically about the representation and participation of artists and culturalists, in these UN spaces. I would love to thank, the Wmcjltv for the support in ensuring that I was able to participate in terms of ensuring that my travels are catered for. So thank you all so much, and I'd love to also thank the coalition for for having awarded me for the humanitarian global award and becoming an ambassador, which gave me the privilege to be able to talk about, the power of media, and also what, this TV is doing to be able to give a voice, to be able to allow our voices be out there authentically, and also to be able to, to have us fully, be the ones to tell our own stories and also, what is happening and around the world and giving people a platform to be able to feel that they don't need to go through different manipulative channels to be able to share their stories and what is happening in their communities, but rather, have a platform that can fully represent them. So with that, I've been having conversations with different people on the continent and here in Uganda as well, and across the continent, to have people subscribe. But, we still, since it's a process that here, is a slow one, we are currently, having conversations on how we can create more, sensitivity, platforms and spaces so that, people get to learn, the power of media. And through the Wmcjltv, I believe this is one of the ways on how people can really feel safe when it comes to media, because we all know the representation of what, the media portrays us, and also, what we do being influenced, by the systematic, ways on how they push and build. So I'm grateful and thankful. Yeah, I mean, if there is any, probably if there is any other question, but I would love to stop there, But I give thanks and honor for the representation and also being able to have our voices, the continent, amplify. Word.
Excellent, excellent. Anybody have any questions for Ross? In the meantime, fix it. Can you pull up a couple of the links that he sent us, the video and pictures that he sent us that we could put on the platform as well? Any questions for Ross while he's talking? Fixing will find some of the videos. We got a couple of videos and stuff, and he can explain what he was doing at that point in time during the videos?
When this videos was sent to our Wmcjltv Telegram.
Check your platform on Telegram. I may have sent them there.
I will try. I'm scrolling our platform, our Telegram.
While he's preparing, I just want to say, Ross Bernard, this is Joe Lance Williams. Thank you so much. I'm in the car, but thank you for everything that you did. We appreciate you representing WMCJLTV Television Network. We're glad you made it back safe. And we always want you to know that it's an honor what you're doing and what you're working with us and making everything happen, making the TV work worldwide. We really appreciate your talent and everything. Thank you so much.
Ahmad, you or Sherrod have any questions for him from out of Brazil? Or any comments?
No, nothing here.
I don't see the videos, don't see pictures. But I have another link that Russ sent in Authentic Voices Africa. It's an official trailer about some documentary Sounds of the Nile. We can watch it, and maybe Russ can also speak about this project.
That's fine.
The Ugandan culture is very rich and diverse.
Abandi kifo kino batya nayo awo gaita wa olina lubale yagaita bugaita yagaita wala nina bamu bagaita omukwano
ate gwatuwe sente The moment you hear the drum like this one, they call it kariwe danda. Ate gwatuwe sente abantu bafuna masano inayo.
Okay, Russ, please tell us about this project. What it's about? I see you also will be part of this movie. You directed this documentary.
First of all, Elder Joe, thank you so much. You and Elder, Mark Kovu were part of, ensuring that, I was able to travel and go and represent, and they are working tirelessly to ensure that, I'm safe. So I wanted to pass that on. Since what y'all just watched is a gratitude documentary, part of what we are doing is we believe one of the best ways on how we can fully come together as human beings to be able to appreciate and honor ourselves, from where we come from and also the challenges that we are facing now. We believe one of the best ways for us to reconnect back to the source, and River Nile is one of the original, centers of humanity, where everything started. You know what I mean? So, us having this journey, we are documenting the life, and the sounds of the tribes and communities along the Nile River, starting from Uganda to Egypt. So what y'all have just watched, that is the first episode that we shot at the source of the Nile in Jinja, Eastern Uganda. So with this, the documentary includes the history of the tribe and the sounds, the history and the meaning also of the sounds of these tribes, and also the meaning of the Nile River. So the Nile River, has its significant meaning, in humanity. And one of the ways as to why we have this documentary is because, we want to celebrate, our resilience and also our reconnection, to our roots as human beings, and also appreciating and honoring, ourselves and nature, because we know the challenges we are currently facing now, things to do with climatic change, things to do with wars, conflicts, discriminations, racism, among so many things, that we believe, our contribution from the motherlands is to allow our people to see the uniqueness and beauty, within ourselves, and just celebrating, our own communities and bringing us together. So the documentary is part of the album. So it's two things, we create these documentaries, and also we collect these samples from these tribes, and we create, music, we create film film tracks and other, poems and stuff, in collaboration with artists, both on the continent and the diaspora. So we already have the album out. It's called Sounds of the Now Volume 1. It's out on all streaming platforms. You just type in Authentic Voices Africa, on any streaming platform. The album is there. So we brought together 6 artists that came in to collaborate on these, these albums. And if you listen to the album and the sounds, these are all authentic sounds, because we use 70% of the samples we collected from these different indigenous tribes. And also this is part of the next project that we are working on next month in July. This is part of our refugee programs that we are doing. It's called Climatic Change and Migrations Virtual Music Residency. So with this, we are going to be in a refugee settlement in Uganda. But we are calling upon all artists from around the world that want to collaborate on this project. For them, there will be virtual due to the resources. And currently, we're also looking for different partners and collaborators, because we want to not only go have a residence with our people in the refugee camps, but we want to also take different, needs to them, physical needs like, clothing, all, you name it, food and all of that, because we know the challenges they are facing. And lastly, the virtual residency, we are calling all artists to come and amplify the voices of refugees in such times. Where we work from in Uganda's refugee settlements, there are literally no trees, man. They face floods if it's raining, drought if it is there, famine, and so many things, man. And we know Uganda is hosting over 5 million refugees from both Sudan, South Sudan, and Congo, where conflicts are currently happening throughout in Congo it's been happening forever, in South Sudan forever, 2 decades now, and in Sudan we all know it started last year in October, but right now, we have a lot of issues. So this is part of what the project is about, and all these countries are along the Nile River. So that's why we came together to remind our people of our uniqueness and our beauty in celebrating ourselves and in nature. So in a nutshell, that's what I can also talk about that, due to time. But, it's also part of the representation at the UN, conference, on the methodologies that we use to amplify and advocate for change, and also the voices of marginalized and underrepresented communities worldwide.
I just want to make a couple of comments. The actual original name of the River Nile is the Hapi, Hapi. The Hapi. The Hapi is the name that is in the Medu Neter, the Meduna chair, and the time construct of the ancient Akabilanian Alkebalon continent is based upon the Medu Neter, and that gives us give me a moment here. That gives us the background of the spirituality, the Mezzonetia, or the so-called hieroglyphics. And I got a video from Ambassador Opalak yesterday, in fact. Let me find this video so I can share it on the platform and Fixin can pull it up. Give me a moment, please. In the meantime,
okay, no problem. Yeah, but it's very interesting, you know, like when I saw this trailer from future movie, you know, it's a good example how is hip hop can be different. You know, most people usually see the hip hop on the TV, on the mainstream, and they mostly think about some United States hip hop, but it's deep from the Africa and different sound. We also I listen some music that Russ also share with Authentic Voices Africa project, and all this music is different and have a unique style, original music, and it's really different and exclusive. So thank you very much, Russ, that you share this not only news but also the videos and also the music. It's very interesting and I like it. It's different sound.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, Makaku.
Okay. One of the things I want us to begin to think about is in November will be the third class of the Wmcjltv 5 Elements of Hip Hop Humanitarian Knowledge Global Ambassador inductees. So I want each of us to begin to think about who is deserving of becoming one of our global ambassadors of the 5 Elements of Hip Hop Humanitarian Knowledge. Because the knowledge in the hip hop genre is the most important element in the 5 elements. And one of the people I want to make sure we induct into the Ambassador Corps is Sherrod from out of Memphis, Tennessee, who is currently in Brazil with Ahmad right now. Ahmad, you want to comment on that?
Yeah. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Looks like, I don't know if y'all can see me. Looks like the internet is bad, but here he is, right here. I just gave him the news. Yeah.
Hey,
how you guys?
We see you.
Yeah, I'm still here in Brazil. I'll be leaving. Nice to meet you. I'll be leaving Sunday, coming back to the States. So we're kind of hanging out, getting something to eat right now.
So you eating some of that good Brazilian food?
No, it's like a health restaurant. I guess it's Brazilian food. I mean, you wouldn't find this kind of food in the States, but it's not like typical Brazilian food. Kind of a vegetarian, healthy, not necessarily vegan restaurant.
Right on, right on. Well, Sherrod, you're going to be one of our inductees in the Ambassador Corps of the 5 Elements for Hip Hop Humanitarian Knowledge. The work that you are doing with Ahmad, who is also one of our ambassadors, is very significant, and it's going to play a role in the growth and development of the television network, as well as the growth and development of your own business, entertainment business. Fixin, pull up that video I just sent, please.
Yeah, okay. Give me a few minutes. I try to download it now from the platform. Yeah, it's good to see Sherrod also in Brazil, and it's also a good example how hip-hop can be different, not only USA scene, but also it's the culture that spread out from the United States and from to the Brazil, to the Uganda, everywhere. Hip-hop is everywhere. Hip-hop have no limits and borders.
Yeah, definitely. And when you heard Ross speak about Uganda, Sudan, South Sudan, the Congo, those are the areas as well as the Ethiopia, where the Ethica Kingdom Alliance has the members of the alliance. Uganda in Kampala is the headquarters of the Ethica Kingdom Alliance, of which our network is aligned with, and the work that we're doing with the more tribal national government is aligned with as well. So there's a lot that's being connected through our television network. And for those of you who don't know, our website is up and running. Fixon has been doing a great job. And this is the video where they're talking about the African calendar, the African or the Acabulanian calendar. And listen to this video. It's about 4 to 5 minutes.
The foundation or the basis of African spirituality is the African calendar. Once you understand the African calendar, you also understand the African creation story. You are then able to then connect back to in nature, in Vel.
Please, can you break down the African calendar for us? I'm so thankful that I yes.
Okay.
We're waiting for you.
Yes. The African calendar is very important for us. This is the calendar that we used before we were colonized, by these Westerners. All along, we've been using a calendar that is based on the Northern Hemisphere. Activities after Christmas and Easter, you are then assisting Amadloza Belungu. You are giving them strength and power to continue, and dominate us. And when it comes to remember, there's the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere. Yeah. We are on the Southern Hemisphere. Yes. We're not supposed to be using a calendar that is based on the Northern Hemisphere.
The climate the seasons are different.
They are different. When it's summer here, it is winter that side. So, Tina, when we took all over the continent, there's no country that is aligned with the energy flow of the continent, because all these presidents have been adopted, a Western, calendar and imposed it upon the majority of African people. That is why siloko sithandaza sithi hey uNkulunkulu akasizwa umveli nqani kanti siguqa ngesikhathi esi-wrong when we're supposed to kneel here on the Southern Hemisphere, like in New Year. In New Year, it's on the 23rd of September. What does it mean? In terms of science, that is the day of the spring equinox, meaning that is when the earth energies reach equilibrium. Is the equinox, meaning day and night are equal on that day, so that from that day kuqala ilentuza spring on the Southern Hemisphere, so we're getting more light and less night. Okwamanje could dominate the night. Why? Because the sun is in the Northern Hemisphere. It will come back on the Southern Hemisphere. That journey, if figure on the 21st of September, the sun officially leaves the Northern Hemisphere, and it takes 3 days for the sun to transit, through the line of the equator, the imaginary line of the equator. So the 21st, the 22nd, 23rd, it makes 1 degree southwards, which then signifies a new cycle for the Southern Hemisphere. So a calendar lentuza that we reintroduced, it is based on Inzalo Elanga, because Inzalo Elanga marks the solstices and the equinoxes.
So then if we had to follow the African calendar, what would that look like? And
Okwamanje,
yeah.
if we are, following the African calendar, we are in the season of the principle called Set. Set is that a principle that governs, but in ngesilungu entropy. Entropy, it means ukuthi a contained energy, gets released. Do you understand? If let's say, as an example, amanzi that flows from a waterfall, right? That is the energy that is not contained. It's free. It's just evenly distributed. But then when you put a turbine somewhere down there, we are able to enhance that energy to create electricity, from that flowing water. So we are in that season city, ngesizulu, isikhathi sikambhidlizi, uset umbhidlizi, meaning ukuthi is the principle of chaos. That is why you witness so much chaos, even in our country. What is so painful? Uset uza nezifo, July.
Okay.
Uset uza nezifo. Batubula abantu le Eastern Cape, batubula abantu le and bangena kuma tavern. Batubula abantu la Orlando. 13 people were dead is all. I believe nasekatle home. Last year who said when it was this season, there was this looting that was happening. Meaning it is the release of a contained energy. It then becomes free. But then the next season, Gama Art, that is when it is contained and enhanced again. Because Art is the principle of order. Which then says, Guti, you can never have order without disorder. Do you understand? Chaos gives birth to order. Yingakho-ke, that is represented ebukhosini. Ebukhosini, inkosi represents order. Yingakho inkosi mayigcotshwa kumele iyobikela okhokho bakhe ukuthi order has been restored. Sengihlile.
Friction, pull up those pictures I just sent. Now, if you took a look at the diagram of the months of the Uganda calendar, the African calendar, you saw the figures of the Kemetic spirituality. You heard him mention Set. You heard him mention disorder. You heard him mention Ma'at, bringing about the order, restoration of the order. Here you see the divine ark, the matriarchal ark of creation, which provides the basis for the story of Adam and Eve. So what they were just explaining is that the Uganda calendar is based upon the Medu Neter, the so-called hieroglyphics. There's some other pictures. Pull them up, Friction, please.
Okay.
Those figures that underneath Nut, which is the sky, and standing on Geb, which is the earth, are the 5 children of Geb and Nut, so-called Adam and Eve. Here you see Mut, the divine mother of creation. She was on that circle, the diagram, and that circle constitutes the flower of life diagram that you get Terrence Howard speaking about right now, claiming that he has dissected the secret of the flower of life. Here you see the figures, many of which were in that diagram, which represents the flower of life, which represents the Uganda African calendar. And all of this comes from where Ross was talking about the Hapi River Valley, the Nile River Valley, and the source of the Nile, the Hapi, being in Uganda. Here you see Pata, which also was on that diagram. Thank you. Thank you, Fixin. Now, Fixin has the report to bring us date on the Ukrainian attack on the Lugansk People's Republic.
Yeah, we also wait for Sidhant, but he is busy now in his restaurant. So I will be quick. Tell you what was going on in our territory in Lugansk People's Republic. You know, it was the daytime. I was in the radio live, have my rock music show. It was the morning, about 11 a.m. in the morning, you know, and in that time we start to have the messages from the Lugansk city where my mother and my father is living now, and my mom sent me the voice message in Telegram that they are under the pressure, under the hard gunnery shots, under the shots of the rockets. You know, it was Lugansk city was attacked by attacks. You know, it's rockets that United States give to Ukraine, and these rockets attacks was shot the buildings where my family living. You know, in Lugansk city, it was the many victims, many people have some shots. You know, about more than 50 people in that time was get shots, and some people was in the daytime in the house, and one house was you know, destroyed. We'll be showing you now the video. You can see this is the building where peaceful citizens was living, and some people was at home in that time, because like I said, it was 11 a.m. and people just some people was at home in that time, and the rockets flying in this building. You know, it's east side of city, Lugansk city, just the area where citizens living, and like I said, was many victims. People was like in prison in this building, so the services are trying to help these people in the daytime, and the construction workers trying to put the people from the outside of this destroyed building all night. They working all night to from daytime to, and then all night they trying to help some people, and like I said, many victims, and also the kids. Not only victims, the grown-up people, but also the kids get some shots, and kids in the hospitals, they now have some medical care in the hospitals, but also, like I said, some people was murdered in the time, and it's crazy, you know, like it was in the daytime, like I said, and now we'll be show you another building that also was destroyed. You see the blown up in the center where the blocks, the people, you see, people just going on who on the job, who, and there is many people living in that area, because it's like I said, the blocks, eastern blocks of Lugansk city. So that's all. Yeah, we will show you a few videos also how the construction workers put the people in the night time. In the night time, they still working. So we continue fight against the Kiev regime, you know, and it's very strange politics that President Biden today continue support the Ukrainian army, support, give them the rockets and don't want to stop the war. They continue make the pressure on the Russia, and they think that they can fight and beat the people on our territory, but we are from 2014 make our way to the independence from separate from Ukrainian country, and we make our choice. We continue move with Russia, so we will be continue fight for our Aboriginal people.
Thank you, Fixon. Thank you, Fixon. We have a Miss Marcy Ingram from Philadelphia. How are you? She's listening. Will you open your camera? Can you hear me?
You not open your microphone, Makakova. Your microphone is off. We not hear you, Makakova. Your microphone not open. Oh, now yeah, now sound is good.
Miss Ingram, can you open your mic and speak to us right quick and open your camera?
She text us in our Telegram Wmcjltv. She said that her phone needs charging, and she said that she's bring apologies about this. So
Okay.
I think.
Thank you. Did Sidhart get back on yet?
I think he is not back, and I think we can speak with him next week, because he's still working in his restaurant, and I think today we can't speak with him, but we can move him to the next production on the next week.
Not a problem. So bring up the last segment of our production, which is the fantastic sculpture in Piccadilly Square in London of the Moors, the Moorish leaders that were part of the raising of the awareness of the oppression of people of color here in the United States. Bring up that sculpture, the pictures and the video, please.
Okay, give me some minutes. Yeah. Need to find it. Oh, okay, I got it. Yeah, I have pictures. Not sure that I have the video. Oh, yeah, we have the video. Yeah, we have the video. We'll show it now. Okay, let's see.
No, that's too extreme. No, again, go on. All right.
All the pictures in this video were live. Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King, Toussaint Louverture, and the sculpture, you see the gold, that's real gold. Now, I just want to read you. This is the entangled past. The entangled past from 1768 until now. And the sculptor was a person named Tavares Strachan, born in 1979. The First Supper, the Galaxy. This sculpture celebrates the act of sharing a meal. 12 historically significant activists, writers, musicians, explorers, and political leaders from the continent of Africa and its diaspora are gathered around a table laden with rice, breadfruit, catfish, chicken, cocoa, custard, apple, and soursop. Although these people come from very different eras and backgrounds and hold different worldviews, Strachan, the architect or the sculptor, imagines them coming together for physical and intellectual nourishment. Seated below, Strachan's self-portrait is a thylacine, a species now extinct. Sister Rosa Thorpe, Harriet Tubman, Cedars Strachan, who was the architect and the sculptor, Shirley Chisholm, Marcus Garvey, Zumbi de Palmares. He's from Brazil, isn't he, Ahmad?
He stepped in the other room.
Haile Selassie, Mary Seacombe, Matthew Henson, the explorer, Marsha P. Johnson, King Tubby, Derek Walcott, and Robert Henry Lawrence. Tavares Strachan talk about the artwork and learn about the people depicted as part of the entangled parts at that QR code. The person that sent me these pictures in the video is one of my colleagues, Joe Horton. You met him when we did the Wine Dance Day story. He was one of the founders of the Wine Dance Day story and the co-chairman of the Black Youth Awareness Community, BIAC, in 1968, coming out of high school. And during that time was when they had the takeover of the math building at Columbia University, very similar to the takeover of Columbia University when the people protesting the Palestinian war in Gaza took over the campus at Columbia University. So to see that and to know that our participation in the 1968 SDS, Student of Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, was part of our heritage. Joe, having traveled to the UK about 6 weeks ago, took these pictures and sent them to us. Any comments, concerns, and questions before we take the program out?
Why they in different colors? One is golden and other in black colors. And I see some like some sculptures in the chains, or I misunderstood.
Yes, it's depicting several individuals from different eras that were enslaved, that were part of the reckoning to bring justice for people of color in North America and on the continent. The different colors, the gold represents the enlightening, and the darkness represents the darkness of that people came out of.
So these sculptures is in the England.
It's in England, yes, Piccadilly Square in England. It's a beautiful sculpture.
Take our lead. Take our lead.
Leave, I'm doing my television show. So that's a beautiful sculpture to be situated in downtown London in Piccadilly Square is a significant projection of our culture of Moors from around the world. I want to thank everyone for today's production, for coming in. Miss Marcy Ingram, she's charging her phone. We'll have a chance to get her into a production because I want her to give some information on the Moorish conference that she attended on May 18th. It's the World Media Coalition Jazz Lovers Television Network with our main technical producer, Zulu King Fixer, Uganda People's Republic, Joe Lance Williams, leader of the Coasters, Ahmad Mansour from out of Brazil, Gerard from out of Tennessee. Thank you all for coming in today's production. WMCJLTV, Jazz Lovers Television Network. Arts, culture, and entertainment with fine news and business. WMCJLTV.